Hi, folks. Welcome back to another session of Stand on Guard. We're having a look at a very interesting interview, which has captivated audiences around the world. It's getting huge response, huge reviews. It's Tucker Carlson on the Joe Rogan Experience. Now, I'm not always a fan of Joe Rogan. I know that means nothing in terms of the audience he gets. He's the most successful broadcaster out there, and he's been doing this for years. And obviously, he has a formula that works. But the episode with Tucker Carlson is particularly enlightening and particularly worth watching because I think there's a frankness between the two of them and from both of them in this conversation, which ranges from demons and aliens to the assassination of John F. Kennedy. And it's well worth watching, and I encourage you to do that right now. And I'm just introducing this clip to say it is fascinating because this is Tucker Carlson at his best, and I really think this will be Joe Rogan's most successful program. I find this section particularly fascinating because I've always been a student of the Watergate scandal, the investigation. And I've always been a bit of a fan of Richard Nixon. Not because he was really a true conservative, and not because he wasn't without tremendous foibles in his personal and professional life, but he might have been one of the top 5 presidents in terms of intelligence and in terms of achieving goals that he set out to achieve. And I don't think he deserved the end he got, because this really was a third-rate burglary that he could have handled better. And maybe he couldn't have handled it better because he was set up by the CIA. And there's a comment that Nixon makes to then CIA Director Richard Helms, where he says, "I know who killed Jack," meaning President John F. Kennedy, with whom Nixon was very good friends when they both served in Congress and the Senate. And during the years of Nixon's vice presidency, they were very close. Nobody knows that, or very few people know that. They were not personal enemies or adversaries. They had a lot in common. And I think Nixon would have handled the Cuban Missile. An interesting section because, as Tucker says, what is Helms' reaction here? And why is it basically not normal? Mike Pompeo, former senator from Kansas, former Secretary of State, and now he's sort of the grand poobah of the old Republican Guard, even though he was a Trump appointee. And everywhere Pompeo goes, he's cheered, he's congratulated, and he's feted as this great Republican. Although he's one of these Republicans noted for furthering foreign wars, for fomenting foreign wars, and for being a Secretary of State, and of course, a former director of the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, where he, as Tucker relates here, went after Julian Assange and wanted Julian Assange dead. Now, as Tucker says, that's nothing to celebrate. Assange was guilty of no crime except for exercising his right to free speech and exposing the American Department of Defense for gross infractions of human rights. And Pompeo should not be cheered and congratulated, because what he has represented and what he has done has been appalling. And I think Tucker Carlson points that out very well in this segment.
To one.
Look, we are in unprecedented times, okay? We're in dangerous times, as has been articulated here, around the world, and here at home. We need steady leadership. We need steady hands at the wheel. I regard myself as a wartime speaker. I mean, in a literal sense, we are. I knew that when I took the gavel. I didn't anticipate that this would be an easy path. Former Speaker Newt Gingrich posted a couple days ago on his social media that this is the hardest challenge that's faced a speaker probably in the history of the country, in the moment that we're in right now. He said arguably maybe comparable to the Civil War, but maybe worse.
Watching this episode of Stand on Guard and being a part of the Krayden's Right channel. If you've watched this episode to this point, you've watched it all. And that's really important for a small station like this. We always say subscribe, hit the bell, be a part of the Krayden resistance. Resolve to resist. That's what we're doing. And if you become a subscriber, if you're a supporter of this station or a member through Substack, through YouTube, and now you can be a local as well, that's so important to us because I couldn't do this without you. I made a decision to become an independent journalist about a year ago because I wanted to bring all of my experience in the military, in journalism, to you. I don't promise anything I can't deliver. I don't offer clickbait. I offer truth. The truth is out there, and it's my job to bring that truth to light and to you. Thanks for being a part of the Krayden's Right resistance, and we'll see you again soon.
So we are in a very precarious position in this country. We need a political change, but we also need to resolve to resist.